First up is Howie Hawkins, who's running for governor on the Green Party line. He joins us tonight from his native Syracuse. Howie, thanks so much for your time tonight.
Thanks for having me.
So Howie, just to get things started, tell our viewers a little bit about you, why you decided to run for governor. I know you've been involved in politics for a long time. You've run for a number of other offices, but why governor and why now?
Well, the Green Party asked me to run, and our minimum goal is to get 50,000 votes for our gubernatorial ticket, which will entitle us to a ballot line for the next 4 years. Beyond that, if we can get low six figures as a vote, we can establish ourselves as the third major party in New York. And instead of being a sidebar to the regular political dialogue, the Green program will be part of the main narrative. And that's the second objective. And the third objective is to win the office. We're trying to win, we're ready to govern, but win or lose, we're going to keep pushing our platform.
What have you seen in terms of support so far? Are you hearing people come out for you, supporting your platform?
Yes, I'm very pleased with the support we've received, particularly from people in the labor movement. Rank and file workers have formed a labor committee for Howie Hawkins. I've been invited to endorsement interviews and to speak at rallies where Greens have not been invited before, and I think that's because Cuomo is running so far to the right. He's put public employees and teachers in his crosshairs. He's talking about cutting and gutting state agencies, and a lot of people in the labor movement say, no, we need to have progressive tax reform, have the rich in Wall Street start paying their fair share of taxes again, and then we can fund the services that the people expect from government.
Now you
and
mentioned
so that's one area.
Well, you mentioned Attorney General Andrew Cuomo, and a lot of the dialogue in this governor's race has been about Andrew Cuomo and Carl Palladino. It's been pretty dynamic, to say the least. Sitting as a candidate running for governor, what have you thought about the coverage that these two have received and the exchange between the two of them?
Well, they're getting down to personality, and the people want solutions. We have a jobs crisis. We're calling for public jobs when people can't get jobs in the private sector. Universal health care through a single public payer system, fully funded public schools, and a big green stimulus to get us to a carbon-free economy, which we need for environmental reasons to stop global warming, as well as to stimulate the economy. We have a prosperity plan. When you look at the details of Cuomo and Palladino, they have austerity plans. So I think that contrast puts us in the mainstream of New York's progressive political tradition, and I think we're well positioned to get a big vote.
Now, you're going to be going head-to-head with Cuomo, Palladino, and the four other candidates running for governor on Monday night. What's your strategy? Fill us in a little bit.
Well, it's the same strategy I've used in local debates, and that is to speak to the issues and bring things to the table that the old parties won't bring up. I think the first thing I want to raise is the stock transfer tax. $16 billion the state collected last year and rebated right back to Wall Street, as they've been doing since 1981. If they'd have just kept that money, we'd have had a $7 billion surplus instead of a $9 billion deficit. So I want to put that out there and see if they won't agree to end the fiscal crisis right now and start funding the things people need: jobs, schools, public safety, and the other government services.
What are the things that you're going to want to point out about the other candidates running for governor? What are some of the points that you want to bring up about their candidacies?
Mainly, I want to put our program forward. We call it the Green New Deal. I think the voters are ready for it, and I think just the contrast between our prosperity plan and their austerity plans is going to speak all I need to say about the other candidates.
Do you plan on going negative at all during the debate?
I don't go negative. I compare and contrast where it's appropriate. I'm positive. I think we have an optimistic, positive program. I think New York can come back if it leads the way. We led the way with the New Deal, 1931. Governor Roosevelt started putting people to work in public jobs, and then they went national with the Works Progress Administration. Now it's time for New York to lead again with a Green New Deal, which will do those things that the Democrats seem to have forgotten about from the old New Deal, but also bring in sustainable development, green technology, clean energy, and I think that will speak for itself.
Monday night is going to be a big deal for your candidacy, though. It's a lot of free publicity, a statewide program. How do you decide on using that? How are you going to use that to your advantage?
Just the fact that I'm there and able to speak on an equal footing with the major party candidates is all we need. I think once the voters hear what our program is, it's just very simple. Present the program and people will see it, and I think we'll get a lot of votes from it.
Now, you have been in the political process for a long time. You've run for a number of other positions. Why governor? Why do you think this is a position where you could make the difference?
Well, I was hoping to support somebody else for governor, but I was basically drafted by the Green Party. And one of our goals is to get a ballot line and then to raise the agenda that we have and try to become the third major party. And there was a poll out a couple of weeks ago, 58% of New Yorkers, according to this Gallup poll, 58% of Americans, according to this Gallup poll, want a major third party. And we're not just a protest candidate or a party, we're not just on a single issue or have a beef with one of the two parties. We're trying to be a comprehensive major third party. And that's what we're bringing to the table in that debate.
Well, you said you were hoping to support somebody else. Who would that person be that you would have supported for the race?
Well, I tried to persuade Alice Green of Albany, and she said, no, you do it, and she's supporting me. And I ran for city council last year, got 41% here in Syracuse, and I did a civil disobedience action on single-payer health care, spent a night in jail, and my answering machine was blinking, and I thought people wanted to see how I did in jail, but it was Greens around the state saying, good job running for city council, now we want you to run for governor. So it started right away after the last election.
You do have a wide field, though, 7 candidates running for governor. Is there any other candidate whose platform you support or think is raising some good points?
Yeah, if we were to have an instant runoff voting system where you rank your choices in order of preference, it takes a majority to win. So if nobody gets a majority in the first round, the last place candidate is eliminated and their votes transferred to their second choices. So instead of having runoff elections, you have one election where you have instant runoff. I'd probably rank Charles Barron second. I think he and I have similar progressive politics. And after that, I'm not sure. But I think, you know, Charles is raising some good issues, and I met him back in the 90s. I think we have a lot in common on the issues.
Anyone that you would rank last, then, your least favorite candidate out of the 7?
Well, I'd have to look at a couple of them that I don't know much about and see if they're serious or they are, you know, trying to get attention or just not ready for the office. But I think Carl Palladino can't help himself. Every time he opens his mouth, he insults another group. He just seems compelled to do that. His mean spirit comes out. And I would rank him very low. And I think Andrew Cuomo would be just above him. But I'm really interested in getting people to vote for us. I think we, as I said earlier, represent the mainstream of New York's progressive political tradition. And the Democrats keep moving to the right, and they've left a big backing for us to step into.
All right, very interesting points you made there, Howie. Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate you joining us this evening.
Thanks for having me.